from me if you have any questions for me after this session, by all means, my email is on my website. It's right there. And if you ever want to engage in any type of conversation out in the open on digital leadership, feel free at any time, tomorrow, month from now, a year from now, to use the DigiLead hashtag on either Twitter or Google+. So let's begin. I think it's really important, to set the context for, this, I don't know if I want to say a new construct of leadership, but a more enhanced form of leadership, is it's so important to lead by example. It really is incumbent upon us, regardless of our position, whether we are teachers, administrators, board members, even students, that if we truly want to change things in the 21st century, change things in our schools, we really must lead by example. And I love this quote at the bottom, leadership is action. It's not position. And it's also not posturing and just engaging in conversations, whether it's in online spaces or face-to-face. It really is about taking action, initiating sustainable change, leading to cultural transformation. I'm talking about change. The world is changing. Things are happening so fast. The world is evolving so fast. It really is an exciting time. I think it's probably the most exciting time to be a leader in education, because we're seeing this, the digital age evolve right in front of our eyes, and it's happening so fast. And, many of the advancements that we're seeing in today's society are directly related to technology. Technology now allows us, just like tonight, we're connecting, me here in New York City, many of you out in Canada. Technology has the capacity to bring us together, to share ideas, for us to build this, collective of knowledge that helps us eventually do what we do better. But I think the most important change is our learners. Because of the changes that we're seeing in society and changes in education that are direct results of technology, our learners are changing. And they're wired differently. Now, you can't see it, but in front of me is our playroom. And that is where my two children spend a great deal of their time on the weekends and when they're done their homework. My son is 8 and my daughter is 7. And when they say that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, that's a pretty accurate statement here in the Sheninger household. My son loves playing Minecraft. He's over there on the Xbox Connect. He's collaborating, creating, communicating with his friends in 3 different states every single day. He is building a world. He is authentically engaged. He is motivated. He is excited. And he is able to do things that I can't even do. And I like nothing more as a parent, as an educator, for him to explain and show me what he's building. He explains his logic. Now, the problem is, my son here at home in New York City is, just loves the type of learning in a game-based environment. The problem that we're seeing, not just in New York City, New Jersey, the United States, or even across the world, is that schools and educators are not changing. More specifically, leaders are not changing. And there's a variety of reasons why. But, I think it's important that we keep in mind that we are here to serve our students. And we can no longer sustain school cultures that work well for us. We need to create schools that work well for our students, for those digital learners that when they come to school, the passion, the excitement that they have for learning in the digital world, based on the environment that they're in outside of school, is stolen from them. It's squashed. It's prohibited because of our misguided policies, our fears, and our misconceptions when it comes to technology. And my slide is not showing up. I wonder why that's the case. I guess there was a few blanks. I apologize. Now, schools are not changing for a variety of reasons. This is really sort of sums up, oh, it is there? Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't see it. I'm not seeing it on my screen. It is blank. That is really weird. I probably have some real nifty slides as to why schools are not changing. I don't know why I don't see it right now, but it is there. And hopefully you are just enthralled by the images that you see. Now it's blank. All right, it's here now. Hopefully you see this one. I don't know about the technological glitch, but hey, that's the world of technology. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. All right, schools are not changing, first and foremost, really because there's a fear of technology. Whether it be social media, student-owned devices. Hopefully you see this image right now with the nice little red circles with the lines slashing through them. This was my school. My school prohibited social media, student-owned devices, because I felt that it had no place in education. And, you know, I really worked very hard to create a compliance-based system that really would engage our students and really focus them on learning. So as the principal, I really made sure that there were no distractions in our learning environment. Obviously, things have changed. And for me, it wasn't until I became educated about how social media and student-owned devices could be harnessed to really unleash the learning potential of our students. And, you know, I basically found every which way to make an excuse not to allow new age technologies into the environment at New Milford High School. And, you know, what I've learned in life is that education is good for one thing. It is good for making excuses not to move forward. And if you don't value something, you won't find a way. You'll just find an excuse. But if something is ultimately important to you, you will eventually find a way. And it wasn't until I became educated, one fateful day when I decided in 2009 to give Twitter a try. At this point, I was not on any social media tool. So basically, once I got on Twitter, just to communicate better with my stakeholders, I really realized then that there was so much potential in using social media. So what did I eventually do? I jumped on the bandwagon. And it was when I discovered that while I was communicating with social media, I started being creepy. I started working and learning basically as I went. And as I worked in the shadows and I watched what other people were doing, I figured out that there was this whole new world that I had been missing. And the more I learned and started sort of jumping into conversations of these passionate educators, talking what seemed to be a whole different language, my behavior changed mainly from communicator to learner. And that's when the magic happened. And that's when I truly became educated on the errors of my ways. And that point in time is when I changed. And I could never go back to the type of leader that I was. I don't fault myself or my training. You know, I really fault the system. And the system in general did not place an emphasis on training leaders or educators on how to embrace social media and other web-based technologies. And what I learned was that technology, social media in general, was not the catalyst for change. It really was the people that I became connected with, the conversations, the sharing, the resources that put people like me in a better position to initiate and then eventually sustain change. So I jumped on the bandwagon. And oh boy, here is another slide that's blank. I am so sorry. I really do not know what is going on here. And I could bring up the thing on my end, and I'm assuming it's blank right now. If it is, I apologize. I've never experienced this in my lifetime. So, all right. Well, let's see. Anybody see anything on that slide? Because I don't. That one, nope. Yeah, Katia, if you can try to reload, I mean, that would be great, because then I could just jump back on quick. And, I mean, here's slide 16. 16 is, oh, no. You know what? I made sure in the Sheninger household, John, there's usually 30 connected devices, and I made everyone log off except for me and my son. All right. I apologize. But you know what? As long as these other slides are up, I'll be able to continue. So, thanks, John. So basically, you know, for me, in order to change, as I learned, two important things had to happen. I had to learn how to give up control. And, you know, as I said before, education is a compliance-based system. We are so used to rules. We're used to establishing rules, having students and teachers follow rules. So in my transition to a digital leader, it started with social media, and then I realized, you know what, I need to change. So I determined that I need to give up control. And my next slide is not there. Oh boy. This is really weird. It's there. I can't see it. I cannot see the slides on my end. I really apologize, everyone, because right now I am just seeing a blank screen. So I have no idea if you are seeing anything on your end. I don't see it. Okay, in addition to giving up control, my next slide is trust. You might be looking at the blank screen, but just think of a nice, beautiful image that just says trust. We need to trust our students. So we need to give up control and trust our kids. Those are the two keys that really led to this desire to want to shift policies and practices to eventually become catalysts for change that eventually led to radical transformation of the teaching and learning culture at New Milford High School. Now, you know, after, I started this journey, I came up with these, what I call my pillars of digital leadership. And they really are the foundational or guiding elements for how I have incorporated technology into every facet of what I do as a leader. Now, leadership is no different today than it was yesterday, 50 years ago, 100 years. You know, the same basic tenets of effective leadership still apply. The difference here is, how can we seamlessly integrate various forms of technology to become more effective and efficient leaders? And, you know, the pillars of digital leadership look at all of those elements that we must be doing as leaders. They are communication, public relations, branding, student engagement, learning, achievement, professional learning on our own, learning environments and spaces, and discovering opportunity. Now, you know, the first pillar is communications. So we need to think about, you know, at the simplest form, what do our stakeholders want? What information do our stakeholders want, regardless of where we are in this world? They want news, meetings, events, student achievements, staff accomplishments, weather, emergency information. We now live in a real-time world. It's so important that we give our stakeholders real-time information, because that is what they've grown accustomed to. And now my slides seem to have caught up. This is great. So the beauty of social media and being a digital leader is engaging stakeholders in two-way communication. We can now use tools of our age to not just send information out to our stakeholders, but to engage them in a greater conversation about what we do. It gives them more of a sense of ownership in the work that we're doing and the role that they play when they can engage all of us in conversations about what's going on in our buildings, our districts, and our classrooms. Obviously, we have so many different tools that we can now leverage to enhance our communications, regardless of our position, whether it be Twitter or Facebook, Instagram, Google+, Flickr, Ustream. There are so many tools that we can use to become better communicators. And when we become better communicators, we really build a greater capacity for the support of the work that we are doing. If people do not know what we're doing in our schools, they will form their own perception based on second, third, fourth-hand knowledge. And I know as a leader, I cannot stand the phrase, perception is reality. My idea is I'm going to give my parents the reality. I'm going to let them know what's going on. I'm going to let them know what we're doing. And I'm just not going to use the traditional means that we've always relied on. So using these new age tools just makes sense because it really is about meeting our stakeholders where they are. Our stakeholders are using social media. And I had some other fancy pictures there of the different tools that we use at New Milford High School. We have our own Twitter feed for the school. We have our own Facebook page. We have our own Google Plus page. We have our own native app. We have an app that we push out notifications to our students. Our daily announcements are on a collaborative Google Doc with my staff. So every day we're updating the Google Doc in real time. There's a link on our website, but then we push it out on Twitter, on Facebook, and through our school app. Parents are always in the know, and basically our Facebook page is totally open. My second pillar of digital leadership is public relations. If you leave your public relations to chance, you know what's going to happen. 9 out of 10 times, someone is going to tell the story that you don't want told. The mainstream media, they are not our friends. They are a business, and their business relies on traffic online and subscribers, whether it be online or in traditional formats. And if there is some juicy story that is controversial, that is what they're going to run. Digital leadership is about becoming the storyteller in chief. It's about you, regardless of your position, telling your story, telling the story of what's going on in your classrooms, in your school, in your district. It's about us bragging about the great work that we're doing. Because if we don't do it, no one else is going to do it for us. No longer do we have to rely on those traditional outlets to tell our story, because we have a variety of tools that we can not only craft our message, but we can control it and we can send it out whenever we want. And the different tools that we have, the pieces to traditional public relations really are the different social media tools. Blogs, images, video. You can use a variety of social media tools. So think about the great work that you're already doing and ask yourself, are your stakeholders knowledgeable or in the know about that work that you're doing? And if not, think about how can you better meet them where they're at. Every time that New Milford is on the news, in the newspaper for something positive, we are putting it out on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, you name it, it is out there. We've created our own hashtag, NMHS, to sort of strengthen the message. We are generating our own content through blogs, a YouTube channel, a Flickr page, and my favorite, Instagram. I love walking around my building, taking pictures of students and staff doing great work. It is so easy. If I'm conducting an observation, I'm already in the classroom, it takes me seconds to snap that picture, put a nice catchy little phrase, put a hashtag, and then share it not just with my community, but with the greater community. So when you do that, when you begin to communicate with social media and use it for public relations, you ultimately create a brand presence. Now, before we get to brand presence, we love, again, taking pictures to showcase our innovative practices. But what about increases in student achievement? This image that I hope you can see, last year was a great year for New Milford. And we did well from a student achievement standpoint. So I used budget money and I made some cheesy plaques. Not because I want to hang the plaques in the school. The most powerful message or use that I can get out of those plaques is by taking the pictures of them and then sharing them on Facebook, on our alumni page, to potential people that want to give money or items to New Milford High School. So, again, it really is that whole public relations piece. No one else is going to do this for us. The media sure isn't. So think about it. How hard is it as a leader, again, whether you're a teacher, a building level administrator, a district administrator, to tell your story and become that storyteller in chief using the tools that everyone else is using? Parents, grandparents, students, politicians, athletes, musicians, you name it, they're all in this space. And all it really takes is a will. And to eventually, what we've seen at New Milford High School is the more we share, the more I share, the more people, the more my teachers and students want me to share, and they want to share. It becomes a domino effect, and it really makes a difference. And, there are so many schools that are doing innovative work, but if nobody knows about it, people are going to still build that perception, and it could be that one negative story. And, many of you that are participating in this MOOC, I am sure you are doing so much innovative work in your schools, or you want to learn more about it. Well, you know what? Share. We have to stop being so humble in education and really brag a little bit, or else the rhetoric, no matter where we are at, is going to keep getting more and more negative until, it just consumes our stakeholders' minds. And then it could be not matter really what we do. All right, some more blank slides. There we go. My third pillar, branding. As I mentioned, when you communicate with social media, you start taking over your public relations, you create a brand presence. A brand is usually synonymous with the business world. But what is a brand? It's your vision, your values, your mission. Think about that from the context of your districts, your schools, even your classrooms. What are your values? What is your mission? What is that overall shared vision that you want embraced, that you want everyone else to know about? The brand is contained in our logos, the images we use, the text, the stories. So, it can be your identity. So what do you want people to think about when they think about your schools, when they think about you as an educator? This is what we want to resonate with our stakeholders. We feel a brand should convey, a school brand should convey student achievement, teacher administrator quality, extracurricular activities, interesting instructional practices, innovation, college and career readiness as we define it, and partnerships. By using social media, no one can mistake the brand that we are sort of producing. We're not trying to market our school per se. We are just trying to create a system, a culture that not only resonates with our students and staff, but one that resonates with our stakeholders as well. And I had some more pictures there. Basically, I had all the different images that we use to convey our brand message. We have our Knight logo, our NM, our colors, green and white. And all of those different images are embedded in every social media tool that we use for our school. So when people hear the Knights, or see our logo, they hear New Milford, we want them to think about innovative practices. We want them to think about the increasing student achievement, all those things that I mentioned before, because quite honestly, when we weren't telling our story, people always thought that, we weren't really doing the type of work that we knew we were doing. And it's just so easy. You don't go out and automatically try to create a brand presence. It automatically happens when you tell your story. My fourth pillar is professional growth. Whoops, let me go back here. And I really feel that, we are a part of a new era for learning. We can now learn anytime, anywhere, in real time. We can learn from anyone. We can connect with the best minds in the field of education, but more importantly, we as practitioners can connect with each other. And when we connect with each other, there is nothing that can stop us. Because when we are all on the same page and we share that same goal of helping students succeed, it is just an amazing feeling when we gravitate to the same space and we're sharing, we're learning together, we're constructing new knowledge, and we then take those ideas, those resources, that new intellect, and we initiate change in our schools. Nothing's better than free. Learning out in the open through a personal learning network, it's cost effective. So there's no more excuse about it's going to take money and to do all this stuff. Because as we're seeing right now, this is costing us nothing to engage with me, and unfortunately my faulty slides. But I'll send the slide deck. I'll put up on a slide share so you guys can see the images that were there. But you know what? We get to learn from each other. And there's nothing better than, sharing that common goal to help our kids be successful. And I love this image because this image is from yours truly, Alec Kuros. I was honored that he let me include it in my book. And this really sums it up as to the impact of being a connected learner. You are in the center. You call the shots. It is a two-way flow of information from that social media provides you to help you improve professional practice. There's nothing more empowering than being able to follow your passions, your learning passions. When people ask me, how do we do what we do at Milford, the secret to our success is really taking advantage of the connected world. As connected learners, we are expanding our horizons. We are engaging in dialogue. We're sharing what we've done, and in turn, we're taking resources and ideas and strategies that others have implemented, and we're finding a way to make them work at New Milford. We feel that we're doing less work getting to where we need to be because all the ideas are there for us. No longer do we have to reinvent the wheel. We don't have to rely or succumb to the notion that schools are silos of information. And we no longer have to feel that we're on these isolated islands where, traditionally people didn't want to share lesson plans. They didn't want to share their unique ideas. And now we openly share and give credit to those that share with us because we're all here with that common goal to become better learners and in turn reshape the learning cultures in our respective schools. So when you think about what does a personal learning network do for you, again, you're in the middle of this two-way flow of information. So what is it to you? It could be about support, solving problems, acquiring new knowledge, meeting like-minded people, sharing, self-directed learning, informal learning. But you want to know something? It's also about friendships. And, one of my friends that I've become very close with over the past years is Alec's brother, George. Some of you might know George Kuros. And if it wasn't for my personal learning network, not only would I have not been able to learn from George, but I would have been able to take him to his first Jets game and his first tailgate here in New Jersey earlier this year when he came and keynoted a conference at my school. No one knows George. You're right. George knew. But, that's just one example of how my world has become smaller and I've become better because of the connections that I've made. And, people think of me in some circles as a thought leader. No, 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 I'm not a thought leader. I'm just a learner. And being able to learn from the likes of, Alec Kuros, Dean Chareski, and all these other people here in the States that I'm now connected with, like Todd Whitaker, and Patrick Larkin, Dwight Carter, all these people, they're the ones that really make me the leader that I am. Digital leadership is really about acknowledging that we don't have to be alone. We don't have to go at it alone. And we don't have to have all the ideas to be innovative. You know how much pressure that puts on people to think that the buck stops with them all the time and we have to come up with all these amazing ideas? I'm going to tell you right now, almost all the ideas that we've implemented at New Milford High School, we have gotten from our personal learning networks. All we do is do a better job than a lot of other schools is sharing our successes. And, we give our credit, but you know what? Everything that we do create on our own, we share. And we hope people are going to take it and then go implement it on their own. I love this infographic because this really is what connected learning is all about. All I do is use social media tools to connect myself to the smart people. I am not smart. I do not consider myself intelligent. I am resourceful. I am resourceful because I know how to get to the people that are smarter than me, that are going to help me be a better leader. And because of them, because of the people that I have connected with, that defines me as a digital leader. It's all those other people that have given me those ideas, that have supported me, that have pushed back, that have encouraged me to be bold, to take risks, to really create a culture that now I can honestly say works better for my students and staff than one that worked great for me. And it was all about opening my eyes and my mind to this whole new world. And that really is the power of connected learning. And I can say I truly feel sorry for educators that have not experienced this rush that we experience. Because you know what? It's not about giving us another thing to do. It's not. It's about finding that natural, seamless fit where technology can help us do what we need to do to run, to organize, to support successful schools. All right, another blank slide. All right, so some great tools for your personal learning network. Listen, all of you, you know all these tools for the most part. Twitter, Google+, RSS readers, tablet apps. If you're not using Zeit, please use it. It's my favorite personal learning network app. There's digital discussion forums. I run a digital discussion forum at EdWeb. It's called Leadership 3.0. We have free webinars. Just like we're sort of doing a web conference right now, we do that once a month with nationally renowned, actually internationally renowned educators. And they come, we give these webinars, they're all free. So if you've never checked out EdWeb, please do. I love the Pin. Pinterest is another great learning tool to curate resources visually. Social bookmarking, Delicious, Digo, and blogs. I have a little website there. You know, I got a PLN quick start guide on my blog. But if you Google PLN, I mean, there's so many tools out there. But here's an important tidbit of information. Don't let anyone tell you how to create your personal learning network. It is about you. There is no right way or wrong way for you to create your own personal learning network. There is no right or wrong tool. You need to use what works for you. And that is the most important part of this learning, is it is about you. You build your personal learning network, you create it, whatever you want, if you cultivate it. But you know what? Sometimes you're going to have to weed it. And if someone is not working for you, get rid of them, because it is all about your learning. Again, don't let people tell you how you need to interact with social media or how to build your network or what tools to use, because that entirely is your decision. To enhance learning at New Milford High School, yeah, we've got a little innovative. And my media specialist, Laura Fleming, if you're not following her. I'm going to put her name in the chat box. She is amazing. She is one of the most innovative people that I have ever met. She created our own digital badge platform to acknowledge the informal learning of our teachers. Our teachers are now awarded digital badges after they follow a screencast and they demonstrate a different technology tool in action aligned to the Common Core, ISTE Nets, and the framework for the Partnership for 21st Century Schools. So our teachers now have their own digital portfolios with these badges. But here's the best part. Anyone, any of you can go on this platform and start earning your own digital badges from Laura anytime you want. She will award you badges, and again, they're aligned to the ISTE standards. This is what we're talking about innovation. We really, truly look for solutions to our problems as opposed to excuses. We wanted, we have all these teachers now engaging in informal learning. Well, how do we acknowledge that? And you know what? We found a way, and this was created from scratch. So the link is there. I encourage you, check it out. And if you ever want to do a screencast for Laura, just send her an email. You can do your own, you can share your knowledge, your passions, and do a screencast whenever you'd like. Okay, a few more blank slides. Many blank slides. Oh boy. So what I'm seeing here is it seems like all of the pictures that I had taken of my students, my staff, the culture in New Milford High School seem to be missing for some reason. They're not coming up. So those are what the blank slides were. And I wish it's hard for me to explain, but this is the fifth pillar, which is student engagement and learning. And everything that we do at New Milford High School is focusing on essential skills. And the essential skills are creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, media literacy, communication, technological proficiency, entrepreneurship, digital citizenship, and responsibility. So at New Milford High School, everything is open. Basically, every tool is open, and we have students in certain classes, they have to have a Twitter account. Our students are blogging when they go to Europe for a 10-day Holocaust study tour. We're using Poll Everywhere in our math classes to check for understanding, and it's a form of closure. There's so many different tools that students are using, but our end game is it's not really about the tool. Technology should not be used to drive instruction. It should be used to enhance learning. And now we've created a culture where technology has been embraced without one single mandate or directive to use technology. It is a choice that now every single staff member has embraced. So, at New Milford High School, teachers are given the autonomy to take calculated risks to integrate these tools without a fear of failure. We believe failure is just the best way to learning. So when we look at how we're using technology, and another tool my teachers use all the time is Instagram, this is what we focus on. How can we connect it to learning outcomes that align to skills that our students need to succeed in this globally competitive economy? All right. So some other things just before I get to my last pillar. My sixth pillar was learning environments and spaces. Other things that we've done at New Milford High School, we've created our own Bring Your Own Device initiative. We were the first school in New Jersey to do that. For the past 3 years, we've been BYOD. We have a fully functioning makerspace in our media center, and our makerspace is just amazing. I don't know if you've seen some of my blogs. Kids go in there to create, tinker, invent, to learn, and they're doing it on their own time. I talked about digital badges. Another thing that we're doing, we're creating our own 3D virtual reality learning environment that is our own program that we formed through a partnership. So teachers are using avatars, and actually offering all their classes in this 3D virtual learning environment, which is really, really cool. And as I mentioned, we have just created a culture that is more aligned with the real world. When our students walk into New Milford High School, they log on to our internet just like they would when they go to a Starbucks, the mall, or a restaurant. They use their same username and password that they've always used. We have a media waiver where it's an opt-out. All students would have to opt out. None of them opt out because they want us to showcase what they're doing. They're on our wireless, it is a filtered wireless, but it's not filtered too much. But we have charging stations. We have school-branded charging stations with the New Milford colors, our logo, throughout the building and all of our common spaces. So what we've seen is now when students come to school, they're not witnessing that huge disconnect that they normally would coming to a traditional school, where it's locked down, they can't use their devices, and it's really about mistrust and maintaining that control. Our kids are truly put in a position to take ownership of their learning. Right now, one of my teachers, I saw this on Twitter the other day, put out on Twitter to his students and other people all over the country, what tools do you think my students should use to demonstrate conceptual mastery for this history project? So what we're doing now is students are being given the choice to select the tool that they want to use to create artifacts of learning to demonstrate conceptual mastery. So it's all about giving them ownership, because it really is about the students. And when we give them ownership of their learning, they have more of a vested interest in what we're doing, and they see that value. So technology, the long and short, has become a ubiquitous component of everything we're doing. It's pedagogy first, technology second, if appropriate. We don't just use technology for the sake of using technology. There has to be a strategic way with a defined outcome for how it's going to enhance that lesson, and it's a choice. You don't want to be that teacher now that chooses not to use technology because the students demand it. They're using their own devices at will to conduct better research, become more productive, and to enhance learning. And it has just been, think about a domino. That's how everything has happened at New Milford High School. It has been a domino effect. And we are doing incredible work, not because me, but because everyone has embraced a shared vision for where we want and feel we need to be. What do I do as a digital leader? I do my best to model. I support my teachers by giving them autonomy. We're flexible with our rigid schedule, so we'll be video conferencing with different time zones all the time. Teachers are given unprecedented autonomy. Now, one thing I did not mention before is that, one of the biggest excuses in education is time. We don't have time to learn, we don't have time to do this. We took that excuse away. We used the Google 80-20 model of innovation as a springboard to create our own embedded model of professional growth, where I cut every non-instructional duty that my teachers have by contract. Hall duty, in-school suspension, cafeteria duty. I cut them all in half, giving every single one of my teachers 2 to 3 48-minute periods per week to follow their learning passions. They now are able to learn during the school day, no strings attached, as long as it improves the bottom line, which is student achievement. They create learning portfolios that they present at their end of the year conference to show me what they've done. That has probably been one of the biggest assets and decisions we've made to create a culture that's focused on a growth mindset as opposed to a fixed mindset. So my last pillar, and I do want to apologize, it was my mistake. I uploaded too many images that were too big. So I'll have to learn from this. I do apologize, everyone, for that. My last pillar really is opportunity. And, it's amazing what happens when we talked about the digital learning going on in New Milford, how we tell our story with social media, the communications All of the pillars of digital leadership work in concert with one another. And when you are showcasing what's going on in your schools and districts, you're telling your story, it eventually creates a world of opportunity for you, your students, and your staff. Just some examples. We created our own conference at New Milford High School called the Edscape Conference. And we've actually had people come to New Jersey from Canada. And this conference is all about innovation and technology integration. This is how my teachers are learning about all the different techniques and tools that are being implemented. Our students went to Google in New York and tried out the Google Chromebook before anyone else, and they gave feedback to Googlers. I blogged about how one of my teachers was Skyping with Holocaust survivors in Israel. An organization read my blog, contacted me, and eventually flew my teacher out to Israel for a week, all expenses paid. And then also brought a contingent of Israeli administrators to New Milford High School. We use a platform called ClassLink for our Bring Your Own device. It costs us nothing. It's a $5,000 program that our school gets for free because all we do, again, is share the different BYOD initiatives. So the more you share what's going on in your school, the more opportunities that are going to come about. So what do leaders do in the digital age? We share our vision. We start conversations. We learn with other educators. We lead by example. We embrace innovation and technology integration. We are transparent, and we leverage the power of Web 2.0. And I think that I'm going to stop there because my images are just about that. So that's just the long and short of it, my little story about my journey. And, you know, I firmly believe that, you know, digital leadership, just like anything in life, is a choice. And we can choose going down the same path that is more heavily traveled and stealing from Ralph Waldo Emerson, or we can go down the path that is least traveled. And if we do that, we really put ourselves in a position to radically change the teaching and learning culture. Because you know what? New Milford is no different than any other school in the world. We are blue collar. We are diverse. Parents speak 40 different languages. We have no money. And my building is old. 1928 it was built. We have every excuse in the book not to move forward. Digital leadership is about a change in mindset. It really is about thinking about how you can do things instead of just focusing on all the challenges and obstacles that are there. So when you have that growth mindset, really anything is possible. So that is my spiel for all of you. I hope that I was able to impart some knowledge. If you have any questions, I have a few minutes before I have to go do my next video conference on Google Hangouts. So if you have any questions, shoot them in a text box quickly, and I'll try to answer them the best that I can. So, are there any questions, comments? Donna, how do you reach the non-connected educators? Whew. Well, I think we need to keep, it's incumbent upon us to keep telling our story. And we should feel, you know, that sense of empowerment that we have. We need to empower others to see the value of being a connected learner. I try to motivate others to become connected just by sharing the story of New Milford High School, because I really feel that if we can do it, if I can do it, anybody can do it. So it really is about us, you know, trying to help others find that value. And the best way to do that is to share the work that we're doing. I mean, that is all we can do, and we need to be persistent, because I think many of us would agree, the more connected educators we have working together, the more resources and the better the outcomes that we have. So when you have the opportunity to present to a non-believer, provide those compelling examples. I guess fortunately, I got to do it all the time. I speak to administrators all over the United States that were like me, that want nothing to do with it. All right, let's see. I think there's another question. Need this box bigger. Let's see. How do you get others to get over the fear of technology? Getting over the fear of technology is simple. You need to provide them with the facts. There's a lot of misinformation out there. Here in the United States, they feel that because of the Child Internet Protection Act, they can't do a lot of things. That's a misconception. They feel that there's data issues, privacy issues, that there'll be fallout from things that students do online. You need to provide people with the facts of how technology can be harnessed to enhance learning and do what we do better. In my book, and I guess I'll do a shameless plug, I do address a lot of those fears and misconceptions that normally we encounter. And I think that for me, because I did not know the facts, I built these fears and misconceptions. So a lot of it is, how do we educate others as to the benefits of technology? And again, it comes down to sharing those stories of other educators that really are doing incredible work with technology. It really goes a long way. Let's see. Did I miss any other questions? I'm sorry if I did. I'm trying to go back, everyone, and see. Yeah, but did I miss it? Oh, maybe I can make it bigger. Ah, here we go. All right, I got it. Do you engage school counselors in shared leadership when it comes to technology? Yes, I do. My counselors have admin privileges to our Facebook page. So they're there. They are using technology with their students to better connect with them about their grades and everything. So they are very much a part. Everyone is a part of our transformation. How do you advocate for access? Is it remote or underserviced areas? Our access is phenomenal. Our Wi-Fi is awesome. Here in the United States, there's a national initiative called Connect Ed to get everyone on. That's something that is tough for me to answer, because if your school is not connected, it really will have an impact on the things that you are and are not able to do. The advice to move forward is, speaking to your local boards, your politicians, the stakeholders that really have a say in getting that. And, that is a big challenge. Most of you are in the rural area. I'm like in the biggest city in the world. So, but the rural areas have the most challenge. So, it really is formulating that plan for how you get the funding and the infrastructure set up. I wish I had a better answer for that, Donna, but it really is a challenge. And I really say try work through your teachers association, your administrators association, to try to get that. It really is. You got to keep fighting the good fight and not let up. Because if we let up and we don't fight for access, it's our students that ultimately suffer. Do I blog with my school counselors? My school counselors do guest blogs on my blog. I don't force anyone to do anything they don't want to do. But right now, they just do a few guest posts on my blog. Any other questions? Well, I must say that you guys have been great. I really appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedules to join me. If I can be of any service to you, just feel free to reach out to me. I'll put my email, my website in the box. Feel free to shoot me an email at any time. And that's that. So I hope that all of you have a great evening. I'm going to go get ready for round 2 after I put this up here. And I'm sure we will connect some way or another online. Have a great night, everybody.